Hello, everyone. Today we are joined by Sandbox founder, Sébastien Bourget. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you.
It is. And I know you were really impressed with my French pronunciation. I actually took 4 years of French in high school.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. I didn't take any French.
I can feel it.
Yeah. I don't even eat French fries. I eat freedom fries. So, okay. Well, today we want to talk about Sandbox. I mean, as a lot of people know, I'm, intimately involved with Sandbox, having, a lot of land in the game. I'm excited to see where this goes. But let's start out first talking about a place where people can kind of learn about NFTs and get some free sand right now if they want to go get it. You want to tell us a little bit about the Learn and Earn program involving sand and Coinbase?
So CoinMarketCap. So we've launched on CoinMarketCap last week, one of their largest Learn and Earn campaign, where essentially we are distributing 10 million sand to 40,000 users who are active users on CoinMarketCap and which have like a KYC approved account on Binance. They just need to watch 3 short 1 minute long educative videos that explain what is a sandbox platform, what are NFTs, what they can do with sand token on our gaming virtual world. They complete a quiz, they create their account on Sandbox, and then they will be receiving $10 worth of sand token, which is as of today roughly 500 sand token each. So that's quite exciting. And I heard that we've been one of the most successful campaigns they had, driving into single days more than dozens of thousands of users who joined Sandbox platform and have suddenly learned about NFTs. So that's been really effective in that sense.
Yeah, and I think NFTs themselves are going to change the gaming world. They're going to change collectibles. They're going to change a lot of things. I think for me, being a person that didn't grow up being a gamer necessarily. I mean, I played Mario Brothers when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I played a lot of sports games. I still play sports games. My 9-year-old beat me for the first time ever in Madden recently, and it was really tough.
Just love it here.
Yeah, we were both on All Pro, and he absolutely got me by a touchdown. It was really sad. But the point being here is that video games, for me, growing up, were not the central focus of everything I did. Today, kids, this is the central focus of everything they're doing. And there's a lot of reasons for this. But I think, things are fundamentally changing socially, the way that people get along and relate. Mm-hmm. I think this is the part that a lot of people my age and up miss about gaming is we used to play games like, timeline games. You start here, you beat the game at the end, and it's over. But now they're all open worlds, and it's much more about being social with your friends than it is like unlocking certain achievements or beating a game, so to speak, like we were obsessed with when I was a kid. What have you seen? And I'm sure a lot of that went into your thinking when you guys created Sand. Like how do you kind of see the world changing in terms of video games and social, the way people relate socially?
Well, definitely. I think like virtual world and games are the new social media. Like we can see with Minecraft and Roblox, those are platforms with 200 million active users every month. That's huge. Like that's as big as YouTube or other social networks or platform, which means that they spend more time playing games and socializing in those platforms than actually on social media like we used to do. There's really this generational shift. But going further, like since we're looking at the broad picture of like we've been growing with games, so I guess like you and me are kind of roughly the same age. I've been growing with video games for like 20, 25 years. And that's one thing that I never thought about, like never struck me. Anything I earned in those games, all those virtual content, whether they were coins, achievements, badges, rewards, weapons, characters, and now as mobile games came towards the 2008s, 2008 and 10, there's been freemium, there's been in-app purchase. You could spend real money to acquire those items instead of just playing through a whole experience. And all that content, again, you pay real money, you never get that content for yourself. You cannot sell it. You lose it when you lose about the game. So we've been grown accustomed to the idea that all of that virtual digital stuff was just virtual. It was perishable, consumable. You will lose it no matter what. And I think that's just wrong from the basic. Like if all that virtual content, all those digital assets instead were ours, and we could have been keeping them for all those years as like precious memorabilia, souvenirs, things we could have been reselling or giving to our own kids. Some of them could have been growing in value. And that's really like the shift we are starting to see. And the younger generation gets it. They get it much more than us. And it's only going to change more over the next decade as like they start now to experience with the idea like if they earn something in a game, they can trade it with other users, they can resell it and it has value and monetize. And they can even make a revenue out of it.
Yeah.
In Sandbox, we're essentially focusing with creators first. That's because that's what our tool, the different tools of the platform between our 3D editor, the marketplace, our game maker, that's what's available. The game itself is not yet available. It's going to launch a first public beta early next year. So we've essentially been focusing ourselves with creators, and we've been empowering and changing life of creators by allowing them to create their own content and sell it, create games. There's already over 18 projects supported by the foundation, the Sand Foundation of the Sandbox platform, teams, individual studios that are building games for contributing to the open metaverse of Sandbox.
Yeah, it's exciting. And, you know, we'll pop up a map of Sandbox right now so people can see.
Cool.
You know,
show us where you are.
Yeah. Sure. So we'll pop this up on the interview here so that the audience can see. Like, we have a lot of land on Sandbox, and we're really excited about building on it. You know, a lot of people know BitBoy is a superhero. He's we got some comic stuff going on with Rarible and some other places. Have a game coming out, deck builder game coming out on Wax, and we're actually going to build Digital City, which is where BitBoy lives, inside of our game. We've hired master Minecraft builders. You know, so we've got like some people that can make some really incredible stuff coming on to build a city inside of our plots of land. Definitely very excited to get that going. And so you said that the beta for the game is coming out in the early part of next year. Do you guys have any like tentative dates for that? When are we actually looking at getting our first glimpse at being able to see the open world?
Well, it takes time to build an open world that's going to be fun and engaging for everyone. We don't want to have an experience where you arrive, you're alone, there's nothing to do, you're bored, and you will never ever come back again. That would be, I think, nonsense to launch a platform like this. That all our expertise, all the experience we've acquired over the year into user-generated content and building content and running games with millions of players for many years, including the previous Sandbox on the mobile platform, as it's an IP that's now over 8 years old. We understand that we have to craft an experience where from the very first minute, it's engaging, it's fun. We want you to arrive into a social hub where you'll meet with other users, socialize, and then use a different portal to access various content. And we'll announce soon, hopefully, all the details about the first pre-season, which is an event system which will be spawning over several days, where you as a player, you'll need to complete mission, you'll need to explore, you'll need to socialize with other users to that goal. At the end of that first event, you'll be able to claim rewards, claim token like Sand, that are rewards for your engagement into the event. That's one of the very first steps of play to earn, but we are going to go much further along in 2021 and the year after into adding more features, more design and complexity into those events to make them even better for what modern players are expecting. What you can already engage to right now, you or your 9-year-old kid, is with our game maker. It's a no programming, no code required tool, which lets you like drag and drop assets. They come with a behavior, and you can already make all sorts of experiments. We have run game jams, we run contests, we have seen amazing creation from the community already. As I mentioned, we had those 18 projects. We also have IPs and brand on our platform. The last one we announced was Smurf, where we did the land pre-sale with Smurf last Friday, and it was pretty successful. We sold out everything in just less than 2 hours. And so you'll be able to play with your Smurf and create.
Just out of
Yes, That's a good pun. Yeah.
They're blue. You know,
Yeah.
like, told us land out of the blue.
Yeah.
It's a bad Smurf.
Yeah,
joke.
and
really enjoyed the Smurf.
no, it's fun.
Only one lady though. One lady Smurf.
So let's see what. Haha, the Smurfettes. So you'll find all sorts of experience built either with content from IPs and brand or user-generated content. You'll have various type of experience, RPG type, finding mazes, platformers, etc. That's really going to be quite exciting. The community of Sandbox has been growing insanely recently, like just this year alone, and it's just about 1 year since we started our first land pre-sale. It's amazing to see we have one of the largest Discord within the gaming industry. We have one of the most active Telegram community as well. For more than 4,000 unique landowners, typically. Hundreds of thousands of sand holders, all of them part of Sandbox community and building the metaverse with us.
Well, and I think there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff that even comes out of this. Like one thing that we've done is we've got one of the larger plots. I mean, I think we probably are like, I don't know if we're top 10 for land size. We're pretty close. We've got a 6x6, a 3x3, and a 12x12. So I know that we do have a good amount of land. We are near Care Bears as well. People love Care Bears. I loved Care Bears when I was a kid. We just need a Bitcoin Care Bear.
Cool.
But the point is that one thing we're doing is we're actually tokenizing our land as well. We're going to be, leasing out certain, parts of our parcels to other people to, maybe put advertising up or, whatever the case may be. I mean, I'm not the brains of this operation for Sandbox, since I'm not immensely involved in this gaming world, but I do have people on my team that this is their main function, is to map out our Sandbox world in the whole thing. So I think that, there will be other people that do cool stuff, unlockable content built in, to the land. And I think one thing you said earlier was really key. We were talking about, how much money you spend in the virtual world. Like if I'm a dad, which I am a dad, I've spent well over $1,000 on Fortnite for my kids last year. Okay, because I got 3 kids, they all play, and it adds up. Battle pass you gotta have, and then they always want the latest and the greatest of the skins, and I'm like Daddy Warbucks on the Fortnite, so I'm just handing it out left and right. But I would be a lot more likely to do that if I thought that not only could I be giving my kid what they want, but I can also be getting an ROI on that down the road if whatever I buy them now is unavailable in the future. Because one thing that Fortnite does is they cycle through seasons and you got different skins that are only available for different times. And if you miss that window, then you can't go back and get the other one. So I think, being able to trade NFTs, down the road that can be rare or more valuable, I think that's a big part of this whole, the whole ecosystem.
It is like right now, you're still a pioneer in participating and contributing to our vision of the metaverse and this ecosystem. And what you just said is really interesting, because even if you're not building yourself, you have a team. You're potentially paying people, member of the team, so they build the stuff for you, and then you generate a business on it by leasing some part of it, keeping some other where you're going to run your content and use it to drive players, to drive users, engage with your community in the space. You'll maybe create content that you will sell on the marketplace as well. Why not like a BitBoy character, like we did with the Binance Cyborg, or with the Care Bears or the Smurf that we are selling as premium IP. So there's many new business model and a whole virtual world economy happening around it, and we're just scratching the surface around it, because right now it's essentially content driven. But with Sand Token, it can be also related to staking, to stake sand into your land, to generate some reward, some incentive for people to participate, etc. We have many ideas around it already.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think it's fun times to be involved with this stuff and to be on the edge of such cutting edge, technology or gaming. Like it's really exciting, for me, who's not really been super well versed with gaming, to kind of be jumping in and understand. I think the key is just understanding, like, it's not gaming for fun, it's gaming for relationships. Like that really is what everything has turned into, like you said, gaming is the new social media. I mean, when you talked about those numbers that compare number of people gaming to the number of people on social media, like it really, really puts it into perspective. So Sebastian, last thing, I just want to, want you to be able to give people if people want to be involved in Sandbox in any capacity, what is their next step?
Join our community, join our Discord or Telegram, chat with our members. They are all welcoming. They have really this passion for creating content, for creating game, and for like explaining what's the value of contributing to the virtual world for you, what's the value of NFT. So you'll learn great tools, you'll make new friends, you will potentially be interested to create content supported by our artist fund or game maker fund, and potentially change, it will change the way you'll see about digital assets and potentially change your life. We've already started changing life of hundreds of people who, for example, because of COVID, they were jobless. They found their passion, like, hey, I can make a game without having learned programming. They won at prizes at the game jam. They won prize as they get involved into translating, completing bounties, helping onboarding new users, etc. So it's really developing a whole new, I wouldn't say, it's almost like the population of a new country, the first settlers that comes to this virtual world and are building the amazing content in it, and potentially will also benefit from the growth of the platform. So that's something very different from traditional virtual worlds. In other virtual world of Fortnite, you don't get paid, you don't earn anything by playing and contributing to the success of that game.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's exciting to see it all come together, and you guys make sure to go join the community for Sandbox. Really excited to be part of this, even in a small way, and looking forward to see it develop. Sebastian, thank you so much for joining us today. My
pleasure. Thank you, everyone. See you in our community, and welcome to the Metaverse.
All right. Welcome to the Metaverse. That's all we got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.